Doja Cat, Say So, here on BBC Radio Somerset. It's Jenna, it's Connected, and this hour on the show we're chatting content creation, social media and much more, and we're about to catch up with podcaster and vlogger Louis Skupien. Now, Louis was a guest on my Big Night In show a little while ago when he flew a Top Gun plane. I kid you not. And at that time, I asked him what his next adventure would be. Well, we're going to find out right now, and it's a great one. So, Louis, welcome to the show.
Oh, Jenna, thanks so much for having me back. It's great to be here. And good evening, Somerset. Hope we're all having a great week.
We're not having a bad week, I have to say. You've been having a brilliant time. But before we hear about your latest adventure, tell us a little bit about your podcast, what you do. Just set the scene for us a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, I'm the host of the Talk 4 podcast, and basically I interview unique and interesting people with 4 questions over a quickfire format. And I've been just absolutely privileged with some of the guests I've had on. I've had pilots, I've had fighter pilots, I've had musicians, I've had business owners, and just such a diverse and incredible just guest range. And actually, Mission Impossible has just come out now, and I had the editor of that movie on recently too. So it's just been an amazing journey. We're up to episode 82 now.
Wow, it's incredible what you do. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And as I said, when we last spoke to you, you'd flown this Top Gun jet. I asked you how you were going to top that, no pun intended. So tell us about your latest adventure, because it's a cracker.
Okay, so wow, episode 75 of the Talk 4 podcast. That was featuring Aaron Fitzgerald. So Aaron is the RedBull Aerobatic Helicopter pilot in the United States. And well, if you're wondering what aerobatics in a helicopter look like, dangerous, right? So basically, Aaron flies the BO-105 helicopter, which is a light attack helicopter in the German military. It has a hingeless rotor system. It's just completely advanced, an amazing piece of machinery, and he does these aerobatics in it, which can involve flips, backflips, going upside down often, barrel rolls. And honestly, when you see this stuff, it is just shocking. And I didn't even know a helicopter could be upside down without just catastrophe before going into this podcast. I had such an interesting time talking to him. And at the end of this podcast, he made the invite to, well, take me out and do aerobatics in LA. And let's put it this way, I literally pounced at this opportunity.
I bet. I'm not surprised. So how did it all happen then? So you went out to LA. What happened then? Yeah,
so like I said, after the invite, literally pounced at it, booked the flights literally just in a couple of days after that. And he said that, yeah, there's going to be an afternoon with me planned for that. But he also said that this doesn't happen. This literally, he's not supposed basically to take anyone out, so keep that between us and the whole of Somerset.
Yeah, we won't tell Somerset.
And so he said, come over to Oxnard, which is just up the coast from LA, and well, let's put it this way, I landed on day 1 and I was going out there on day 2, so it was a very quick turnaround, and I was getting all my cameras ready. And when I went out in the jet, I only had 2 GoPros, so this time I actually had 5 on the go to make this video, so it was a much bigger project. And,
yeah, because you filmed the whole thing, didn't you?
Yeah, so I filmed the whole project. I'd made a really, really good video for the jet experience. I wanted to try and make something similar for this one. It's just such a rare and unique experience. Like, this just doesn't happen, so had to capture it for the memories and for the video. And yeah, so got in an Uber on the day and very nervous, mum and dad saying, yeah, just don't text us until you've got feedback on the ground, basically. And I'm kind of thinking a bit, hang on a minute, this is kind of dangerous. Have I actually considered what I'm going out here to do yet? So it was all just a blurb. Then got to the airport in Oxnard, and there Aaron was, and we said hi, shook hands, and got in his car, drove there, and there's this helicopter in the distance closing in, and just wow, the sun was out, it was gleaming and just amazing.
Yeah, and how nervous were you getting into that helicopter, Louis? You know, how did it feel?
Very, very nervous, but I was so excited too. I think when you get the first taste of G-force, which I had in the jet, I was just so eager to get back into that seat and feeling that force again. And Yeah, I was getting everything set up and just admiring this thing because it's such a legendary aircraft. In fact, it was actually the first light helicopter ever, and it was just such an inventive thing, and the rotor system was just insane on it, and it was just complete innovation. And to see it as a big aviation fan as well, it was just terrific. And yeah, we're getting set up, just getting strapped in. I'm setting all my GoPros up on the helicopter, and then he flicks the on switch.
And then you know that, you can't back out now.
Literally, yeah, when you're strapped in and then these blades are starting to turn, it's like, I suppose it's too late to go to the toilet now, right?
Yeah, that's it. Well, you got up into the air and as you said, you did backflips, you did all sorts of things. So tell us how that felt going into all of that, because like you say, that just doesn't happen normally.
No, absolutely. So I was thinking about this on the way up. Imagine if you're just driving up or down the motorway and you just look to left or right and you see a helicopter upside down. That's just not something you'd expect to ever see. So yeah, we went up over the ocean to where he practices aerobatics, and we just started, and he takes this helicopter going backwards, and then we start doing flips and rolls and backflips and front flips, and just the force of it is just insane. But actually, in a funny sort of way, you see the helicopter and you think it would be so sort of chaotic, but actually when you're in the middle of that situation in that seat, it's actually kind of a bit like the eye of a storm sort of thing. It's actually kind of nice until you do a front flip and your stomach basically drops out of your body. And it's quite funny. In the video you can literally let's put it this way, I tried to be very macho of the whole thing, and in the backflips and stuff I was okay, I was doing just fine, but we did this front flip for the first time and you can see it in the video. My face is just, what the hell?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It must have been quite an experience. And, when you were chatting with Aaron, did you find out, when he started doing this and why he started doing this, acrobatics in a helicopter?
Yeah, so actually he explains this very well in the podcast, so I do invite anyone to go and listen to that. It's episode 75. He really explains the backstory and how he got into it perfectly well. But, yeah, so he was a paratrooper, and he left the military and then started flying helicopters. He's a massive aviation geek. He loves it, literally, and he thinks he's got the best job in the world. And then was very lucky. He's the only person actually in the world who holds an FAA certified ground level aerobatics card, and he's only one of two people who can do aerobatics. So the guy learned from Red Bull and the previous person who was doing this stuff in the helicopter how to actually do these maneuvers and tricks in aerobatics. So and now he's the only person in the States who does these things, and he flies air shows and shocks a lot of people.
Yes, wow. So you were in safe hands, very, very safe hands. For you, Louis, what was the most thrilling part of this whole experience?
Ooh, good question. So I think, like I said, the front flip was probably the most insane aerobatic that we did, because you're in this helicopter and he just punches it forwards and you're just going over, and it's just crazy because you're looking up at the sea and you're looking up and these rotor blades are up there and you're thinking, oh my god, am I gonna get out of this? So that was probably the most insane part, but it was just a hilarious flight. So many insane things happened. Like we actually FaceTimed my best friend and family from the helicopter after we'd done the aerobatics, and that was just insane as well, and they were just there like, what is going on here? So
gosh,
yeah, that was funny as well. But I think just the whole experience was amazing. Meeting Aaron, he's just such a talented guy. His skill is just amazing. He's one of, like I said, the only person in the world who's got that aerobatic card, and yeah, the whole thing is just surreal.
Yes, what an experience. Well, like you say, you filmed it all. Can people watch it yet? Is it ready for people to watch?
Yes, so it went out on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, just a couple of days ago now, and the response has just been fantastic, honestly. I've had such good feedback, such nice comments, and everyone has really commended my editing, which is just amazing. Actually, the reference I would use for it is it's kind of like cooking a really nice meal for the whole family and just sitting around watching everyone enjoying it. So it's so nice to have just made this thing and getting to see everyone just loving it. That's just just an amazing thing for me. So it's on my YouTube channel. It's just my name, Louis Skupien on YouTube, and it just came out a couple of days ago. It's up to about 9,000 views now, and it's just blowing up. I'm so happy with it, and it was tough. It was really tough.
The filming or the editing?
The filming was okay.
Yeah.
It was quite funny because he had these mounts on the helicopter, and there was one behind on the wing, and it looked like it was only just stuck on. I thought, is this going to be okay? Like, I've got a 400-pound camera here. Is this going to be okay? Or is it going to be at the bottom of the ocean? So
yeah,
that was kind of funny. But no, the editing was the hardest part. It took me a couple of weeks. So really, if anyone can just pay a visit and just watch that, because obviously trying to picture a helicopter doing backflips and being upside down, that's quite a difficult thing. So you may benefit from seeing the visual side of it too. And also the podcast if you want to learn how this actually happens.
Yes, exactly. So tell people where they need to go to listen to your podcast.
Yep, so the podcast is called Talk with the number 4 at the end, so Talk 4 Podcast, and it's just everywhere. But if you just search it on Google or Safari, whatever your search platform is, it's going to come up straight away. It's on YouTube for the visual stuff, but if you kind of prefer to listen to it in the car or something, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, Amazon, the list goes on. It's everywhere, literally.
Brilliant stuff. Well, tell us about a piece of music that you've used in this creation, because it's quite a special piece of music to you, isn't it? We're going to play it, but before we do, just tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so actually one of my past episodes was with a singer and a songwriter called Eric Lee. He does country music, and honestly, he was just the nicest person to talk to. We had such a good episode. We went really in depth. You can tell he's just a very articulated human being, and actually at the end of the podcast, it was way before Aaron's one, he actually made the offer and said, if you're ever out in LA, then I'll happily host you. And I'd already been kind of a fan of his music, so that was just a fantastic thing, and I took him up on that offer, and we just hit it off straight away. I met his wife. She was amazing. He has the most adorable dog called Billy, an amazing cat called Nova as well, and honestly, they just showed me the best time ever out there. And there's a song that he made called Simple Things, and it's about the time when we were in lockdown during COVID, and when people could just sometimes enjoy some of the simpler things and take some time.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, we're going to play that in a second. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. Very quickly, Louis, have you got any ideas for your next adventure, or are we going to have to wait and see?
I knew this was coming. Okay, well, let me just say, Jenna, that if I get an invite to go and have a live viewing of the Titanic in a tin can that's controlled by an Xbox controller, I might pass up on that particular adventure.
Indeed.
The truth is, I'm just going to keep doing exactly what I've been doing since word go of this podcast, and I'm just going to keep talking to interesting people and lining myself up for fantastic conversations, and just hope that the rest falls into place. But if the Red Arrows ever have a spare back seat and fancy shoving me in there, then
you're not
going to
say
number,
no,
man.
Yeah, that's it. You're not going to say no. Brilliant stuff. Well, like I say, it's been a real pleasure chatting with you again, Louis. Now we're going to listen to Simple Things to take us to the news. That's been podcaster and vlogger Louis Skupien.
From this hell of a day, I've got a stack of problems and some bills to pay, but it's alright, ain't gonna let it break me. I'm gonna take some time, enjoy the simple things. I'm gonna call up my mama, cause it's been too long. Play some fetch with my dog, maybe write a few songs. I'm drinking margaritas till I can't even take some time to enjoy the simple things. my dog